Good evening there, everybody. What is happening? Hopefully, y'all are having a wonderful day today. So, when it comes down to it, of course, I thought that I would review this little video, or at least a little snippet of this video. And the reason why I am doing this is because not only were there a couple of people that told me overall about this video and told me about this channel that I should review here and there, and of course, the channel that I'm talking about is the IBFP. And the reason why I don't tend to review his videos a whole lot compared to some others is because usually the videos that I tend to review, usually they're exposing a certain narrative, or usually it's going to be a channel that I tend to somewhat disagree with. And the IBFP, even though I may not agree with necessarily everything that he says, I do agree with the majority of what he says. And in this video, I thought that it was very particularly interesting. And of course, for those of you overall that have never seen the video, go ahead and check it out. I thought that it was particularly interesting. The IBFP, of course, had a little bit of a heated debate with, of course, another channel that is known as Southpaw. Don't remember overall the full YouTube name, but of course, Southpaw. He's another one of these channels out here, just like Dante's Boxing Nation and Boxing Eagle and Aki TV, that, of course, try to tear down Canelo Alvarez's brand. And they're pretty much the PBFL. And that is a term overall that I pretty much overall have made up myself. What is the PBFL? They're pretty much the Pro Black Fighters League. It just is what it is. That is the name that basically I have created for them because that's pretty much what they are. It just is what it is. Anyone who usually associates with the LDBC or that new media, they claim all in all that they have formed to basically be a new form of media that is logical and objective and overall would treat black fighters in a better light. And I think that to a degree that is a great thing. But basically what they have turned themselves into is that instead of just being Fox News, overall they basically turned themselves into CNN. So basically what they are is, they're basically a different horn on the same devil. Just is what it is. They're all different shades of gray. So really, all in all, you're not really any better than that of ESPN or Fox Sports News or some of these other ones that maybe would treat black fighters overall, a little bit differently when it comes down to it, because basically you have your own certain stereotypes, you have your own certain narratives as well. And Southpaw is no different than any of those other channels. So it is what it is. But anyways, I thought that reviewing this little snippet overall was very telling because this overall is going to tell a little bit more about the case of Canelo Alvarez and why, in my opinion, a lot of these channels cannot be trusted. And the fact also that they have a very big racial issue. And I've had a certain amount of people tell me, oh, you're wrong. They don't have a racial issue. They just form their channels all in all because, they were tired of black fighters getting disrespected. I think I would agree to a degree. And I think all in all that once again, creating your own league or creating your own media to where black fighters can be covered in a better light, I think that that's a great thing. But a lot of these guys don't just use their platform for that. They also use their platform to tear down certain fighters, especially the different demographics that they may not like. And we're going to see that in this little snippet here with Southpaw debating the IBFP. But let's get into it. Let's see what they have to say.
Shut up, pussy. Look at all them canned goods back there. You hitting a homeless shelter for food, Hope. But look, at the end of the day, I done already boxed him, body bagged him. He done already got body bagged 10 times. He can't name a fight. He said Canelo never requested an Andrade fight. He did. He said Canelo's only fighting white fighters, which are cherry picks. So does Canelo get credit for beating Danny Jacobs? Does Canelo get credit for beating Danny Jacobs?
Yeah, he does.
Does he get credit for beating Austin Trout?
For Trout and Jacobs, I'll give him that.
Hold on. Why does he get credit for those fights? Hold on. Why does he get credit for those fights, but not Callum Smith? Simply because he's white?
Yes, pussy.
This dude Southpaw, bro, when it comes out, man, he's got to be one of the most over-emotional dudes that I've ever seen talk about sports in general. Whenever you go to this dude's channel, and I've gone to it just only a couple of times, but like I said, I never review any of his videos because what does he really have to say? Every time you go to one of his videos, he's always just like, this video is about Canelo the disgraced Alvarez and his pussy fans from LA. Fuck LA. Fuck Canelo Alvarez. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? All Southpaw does, kind of like some of these other channels, is just bitch all the living long damn day. It just is what it is. And as you can see, Southpaw, as he just revealed, he has a very big racial issue against certain demographics as well. It just is what it is. That's why these channels, just sometimes like ESPN or Dan Raphael or Raphael or whatever you want to call them, or some of these other dudes, they cannot be trusted as well. Neither can these channels. It just is what it is, or at least certain ones that associate themselves with that of the LDBC or new media. And like I said, there's been certain people that have told me that, oh, well, you're wrong about them. They don't have a racial bias. Yes, they do. Every single one that is associated with the LDBC and new media, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, usually how objective or logical they are because they associate themselves with that mark. At the end of the day, they overall are a part of pretty much being a pro-black fighters league. It just is what it is. I don't necessarily have a huge problem with every single one of the channels. For example, I think that Blue Blood Sports TV actually is a channel that is to somewhat be respected. But even Blue Blood Sports TV, to a degree, he does show overall certain racial bias or bias in general. And of course, in my opinion, is you have to be somewhat colorblind overall when you talk about sports or really when you talk about anything. It just is what it is. But overall, just getting to the points of, well, Canelo Alvarez overall, he doesn't get credit over Callum Smith or, Caleb Plant or Billy Joe Saunders because they were Caucasian fighters. Yes, but all those Caucasian fighters were on the decent A grade level. And I know a lot of people, they'll say, oh, well, Caucasian fighters, they're not usually as dominant in the sport. Well, you can make that point. But at the end of the day, we have to know the difference between a great white hype and someone who actually was a decent Caucasian fighter. And if you're just a person that takes a look at every Caucasian fighter as a great white hype, then what that means is that you probably shouldn't be commentating on boxing. It's almost like if, someone were to take a look at the NFL. The majority of the time in the quarterback position, it usually is dominated by that of the Caucasians. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. Now you have Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. But of course, there's a couple of very, very great black or mixed race quarterbacks when it comes down to like a Patrick Mahomes. Maybe even a Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson. Back in the day, it was Warren Moon. So we have to know the difference all in all between someone that, they may just be another Cam Newton or Colin Kaepernick, or someone that is actually an all-time great like a Russell Wilson or a Patrick Mahomes, even though that's not the usual standard. We can sit here and say all in all, oh, well, because Caucasians usually aren't the most dominant in boxing, they overall, those wins shouldn't count. Well, at the end of the day, Callum Smith at 168 was the Ring Magazine champion, and he had a win over George Groves. Caleb Plant had a very great win over Jose Uzcategui, who had a very decent win at the time over one of the Durrell brothers. So, and Billy Joe Saunders, he also was a multiple weight division champion who had multiple decent wins in his career. So, like I said, and these guys, they don't truly believe they're bullshit either, because when Billy Joe Saunders and Demetrius Andrade was set up to be a fight, everyone said that there was a big fight, including these channels. So, like I said, this narrative that they try to put out there, oh, well, he doesn't get credit over these Caucasian fighters, no problem. Then stop saying that, when Floyd Mayweather Jr. beat Ricky Hatton, stop saying that was a big win. If Terrence Crawford or all in all Errol Spence Jr., if they beat Josh Taylor, stop calling Josh Taylor that great of a fighter. But I said, you notice with Southpaw's channel and a certain amount of these other channels, the only Caucasian fighter that they usually give credit to, you know who it is? It's Josh Taylor. Why is that? Because now some people may say, oh, well, that's just because he proved himself in the 140-pound division. Well, guess what? Tyson Fury and Canelo Alvarez and, even Vasyl Lomachenko to a degree, they proved themselves as well. And Alexander Usyk, is there a coincidence that they don't rank them high on the list, but they rank Josh Taylor on the list? You know why they rank Josh Taylor high on their list? So they can basically say that, oh, well, if Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr., defeats them, basically they're clearly the number one pound-for-pound fighter because Josh Taylor is a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. They're not ranking Josh Taylor high just because they like him. They're ranking him high because they know that they can use him all in all, because more than likely he ain't going to beat Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence worth of shit. They know that they can use him overall to propel one of their fighters higher in the rankings later on. That's the reason why they rank Josh Taylor as highly. But you notice with certain Latino or Caucasian fighters that are definitively the best within their division, whether it be a Canelo Alvarez or Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk, they don't rank him that high.
I can't talk to a racist.
You white, ain't you, faggot? You're white, right, faggot? I knew you.
Like I said, it's interesting how these channels, they always basically call, a certain amount of these channels racist and blah, blah, blah. But take a look at Southpaws Energy. And this is a dude that Dante's Boxing Nation and Boxing Eagle, they say overall, go watch this man's channel. So that tells you all in all what they're about.
Was the white boy. I knew you were white. I knew hey, he white, y'all. Hey, this man is a white boy. No wonder you don't like black people. You racist bitch.
Oh my God.
No wonder. Hold on.
I don't know how you can criticize someone that apparently doesn't like a race when you seem to have a very big racial issue with a multitude of people. And like I said, that's basically what we would call the pot calling the kettle black. But it is what it is.
You saying I don't like black people?
You don't like black people, right? You racist motherfucker.
Okay, where's your proof? Where's your proof I don't like black people? Hold on, I'm asking you a question. Hold on, I'm asking you a question. Where's your proof I don't like black people?
Fuck you, cracker.
Where's your proof I don't
like? That's pretty much all Southpaw has in his arguments. Southpaw basically, he don't have any arguments because I don't think that he has any intelligent arguments. It just is what it is. He's just another one of these idiots, over emotional idiots that basically, talk on a lot of these channels, or he may talk a lot of that shit, but at the end of the day, he don't really have any facts on his side. Because when you overall really bring up the facts about Canelo Alvarez's career, then just to say all in all that he just fights weak opposition and he fights people coming off of his worst performance, none of that makes sense. And all in all, even if you were to bring up the most recent point by Mr. Boxing Ego, for example, where Ego said, "Oh, well, Canelo only fights people, when he has the advantage in a weight class," that doesn't make any sense either, because he fought Gennady Golovkin, Danny Jacobs, and Miguel Cotto when they all had a vastly more experience in the middleweight division. He fought Callum Smith, he fought Caleb Plant, he fought overall. Well, I guess I can't bring up Billy Joe Saunders because he didn't have more experience at 168, I believe. But when it comes down to it, Canelo, he didn't have as much experience there as those guys. And when he fought Sergey Kovalev, he certainly didn't have as much experience at the light heavyweight division as Sergey Kovalev. So it's like, what the hell are you even talking about? Like, none of these points even make any sense.
Black people.
Fuck you, cracker. Fuck you, cracker.
Hold on. How do you know I'm not black, you dumbass?
You not black. Fuck you, cracker. Show your face then, cracker. I'm challenging you to show your face. I'm challenging you.
Oh my God.
Exactly, white boy. God. Exactly, white boy.
Okay.
Exactly.
This is basically all this dude has. Every single time that I see this man debate someone, I've seen him debate Monty Brown as well, which I think is a very decent, logical, and objective channel as well. Basically, all Southpaw does is basically say, "Oh, well, you don't box overall, I can't take you seriously." If you watch Southpaw's sparring videos, there's no offense against him, but the people that you beat when it comes down to it, because you can watch certain videos of his where, basically he fights certain people from LA. You fight people all in all that basically have never gotten a boxing ring ever in their life. It just is what it is. Unless you're a professional boxer, or unless you actually had an amateur pedigree, and maybe he did, who knows, I just highly doubt it. Because I've seen overall the way that he boxes, and when it comes down to it, I would not call him, the creme de la creme. It just is what it is. But that's pretty much overall what he's got. Basically, Southpaw, when he has no more arguments, basically all he says is, "Oh, you don't box, you won't show your face, blah, blah, blah." Because basically he's like that one high school bully. That's what he is. He's that one high school bully that had to resort to physical altercation because he was too stupid overall to basically come up with any intelligent, arguments. So it is what it is.
You white boy.
Okay, that's enough.
White boy.
Okay, that's enough. No need for racist. This guy just racist. It's a joke. He has been body bagged 10,000 times.
Face, cracker. You don't
can't even do it.
I beat you to death, cracker.
And then what kind of man begs to see another man's face? His butt is getting moist thinking about another man's face. This guy's a straight coochie.
Oh, Jesus.
Doesn't make any sense. That's the end of the day. He's been body bagged. Men lie, women lie, and this bitch don't got no smoke for me.
Anyways, that's pretty much about it for the video. But I just thought that I would review that because I thought that was very particularly interesting. But anyways, that's pretty much about it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll talk to y'all later.